Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to this week's news and practice roundup. I've got 4 stories for you today and I will run through today's practice results later in the video. But first up is the news that Mugello and Sochi have been confirmed as the next 2 races on the 2020 Formula 1 calendar. Now, of course, the initial calendar released ran until the Italian Grand Prix at Monza on September 6th, but F1 will now stay in Italy for an extra week, with the Tuscany Grand Prix at Mugello taking place on September 13th. There will then be a week off before teams head to Sochi for the Russian Grand Prix on September 27th, and it looks as though the race at Sochi will be the first to allow fans to attend as well, after the circuit began advertising tickets once again. Of course, that could change in the meantime though. But following the latest calendar announcement, F1 CEO Chase Carey stated, "We are delighted to announce Mugello and Sochi will be part of the 2020 calendar and want to thank all our partners for their support in recent weeks. We had a great start to our season in Austria and we are increasingly confident in our plans to race throughout the remainder of 2020. The Russian Grand Prix is a major moment in our season and we are looking forward to being back in Sochi in September. We are equally excited to see Formula 1 race for the first time at Mugello, an occasion that will mark Ferrari's 1000th Grand Prix." Carey went on to add that there will be more announcements regarding the next races on the calendar in the coming weeks, but reports claim that a race at Portimao is looking increasingly likely to be added to that calendar, with races in Canada and Vietnam still a possibility, and a doubleheader at Bahrain followed by the season finale in Abu Dhabi looking almost certain to go ahead. There is also talk of a third European triple header, with Hockenheim, Imola and Portimao running in some order between October 11th and October 25th. I'm not going to lie, I'm very excited to see Mugello make its debut on the F1 calendar and I cannot wait to see the cars running around that track. Okay, it might not be great for overtaking, of course we don't know for sure yet, but the layout of that circuit looks absolutely incredible and the cars are going to look great running around there. But what do you guys think? Are you happy to see Mugello confirmed, and which other tracks would you like to see added to the calendar for 2020? You can, as ever, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Next up, and ahead of this weekend's Styrian Grand Prix, teams have been warned that the heavy rain forecast to hit the Red Bull Ring on Saturday could see the day washed out and prevent qualifying from going ahead. Preparations are being made for that scenario, with qualifying being moved to Sunday morning a possibility, and if necessary, the grid could be set using the results from FP2. Of course though, the priority is to run quali on Saturday. When asked about the situation on Friday, McLaren boss Andreas Seidel told Autosport, "We gathered information from the race director already, giving a kind of pre-warning that there is a risk that no session is happening tomorrow because of thunderstorms or heavy rain. It is still open if that would happen, if there is a qualifying on Sunday morning, or worst case if that's not possible because the weather could still be bad, then FP2 would count as a qualifying result. That is something we need to monitor today and we need to figure out how we want to handle that." At time of recording, the current forecast says that there will be a heavy thunderstorm and downpours of rain and also the potential for damaging winds. Now obviously, no call will be made on this until tomorrow morning, but definitely watch this space. And do you know what? Even if the rain isn't heavy enough to call off the session, which I'm hoping it isn't, a wet qualifying would still spice things up very nicely indeed. We keep talking about needing some kind of variation in these double headers. The rain could do that for us. Moving on and on to the latest on Sebastian Vettel's future, and the German has said that he is open to returning to Red Bull in 2021 if the team were to offer him a deal. With Fernando Alonso being confirmed at Renault for next year, another door is slammed shut on Sebastian, who has actually admitted that he did hold talks with the French manufacturer, but the rumours of a move to Red Bull have once again surfaced. Now the claim is that Red Bull bosses will bring Vettel back to the team if Alex Albon's performances drop off sharply compared to his teammate. And when asked about those rumours and how he would feel about going up against Max Verstappen, Vettel stated, "I'm of the conviction that if you want to win, you have to be happy to take on anyone. I know the team very well from the past, so of course I'm still in contact with a lot of people there, whether it's Christian, Helmut or others. Red Bull has a winning car. They are a very strong team. Part of the team is not the same anymore and the team has evolved. It's not fair to say I know the team inside because it has changed and moved on. But I know why they are strong back then and they are still a contender. It is a car you can win races in, so for sure that would be interesting. As I said, it's a winning car and I'm here to win and compete, so probably the answer would be yes." So Seb wouldn't mind a move back to Red Bull. However, Helmut Marko has rubbished the rumours, insisting there is no room for the German at Red Bull. In fact, his exact words were, There is no place for Sebastian in our team. If I were him, I'd take a break for a year and look at things from the outside. We have Albon and are also satisfied with him. Now, although I'm not totally convinced by this rumour personally, I will offer a word of caution about Marco's quotes. This is the same guy who said that Pierre Gasly's seat was safe, and then 2 days later, it was confirmed that he had been dropped for Albon. What I will say though is that during the Sky coverage of FP1, Christian Horner was asked directly about the possibility of the team signing Vettel, and he clearly stated it was, quote, a definite no. So if we are to take Christian Horner's comments at face value, which is kind of all we can do, Sebastian Vettel will not be back at Red Bull next season. Finally, for the news bit of this video, Fernando Alonso has revealed that he initially began talking to Renault about the possibility of an F1 return during the final race weekend of 2019 in Abu Dhabi. Just on the off chance you missed it, Renault confirmed on Wednesday that Alonso would be returning to the team for a third stint starting in 2021 and will partner Esteban Ocon. The team, by the way, also stated that Alonso would not get any FP1 running this year. But Fernando, who of course won his 2 titles with Renault in 2005 and 2006, explained how and why he is returning to F1 with the French manufacturer, stating, "We took our time, we respect each other. The first meeting was Abu Dhabi last year, to be honest. I was at the race in 2019 and we sat down and talked for the possibility what can be the impressions of both parties. We remained in contact all those months, and when I finally made the decision of coming back to Formula 1, Renault was always a romantic choice. There has always been this link, we felt it was the right thing to do. With 2022, I hope the sport will have a step forward in competitiveness. I think it's going to be a more firm grid. The cost cap, the new rules will bring more action on the track, but also a more level field on the times. All those ingredients were on the table when I made a decision." And since the announcement, drivers have been reacting to the news, with Lewis Hamilton saying he thinks Alonso will be in great shape when he returns and the sport needs as many top drivers on the grid as possible. Daniel Ricciardo said his return was great for the sport, with Valtteri Bottas and George Russell both pleased to see him back in F1. And the Spaniard's new teammate Esteban Ocon has revealed that Alonso is already messaging him about their plans to help Renault move forward next season. And finally, let's have a look at the results and any major talking points from today's practice session, starting with FP1. Sergio Perez topped the first session of the weekend with a 104.867, 0.096 seconds clear of Max Verstappen. Valtteri Bottas was third with Lewis Hamilton in fourth place, the two Mercedes 3/10 off the fastest time by Perez. However, Mercedes did not run the soft tyre in FP1, so there is definitely more pace to come. Lance Stroll there in fifth place, a 105.3, half a second off his teammate. Alexander Albon was in sixth place. He's got a new set of control electronics for this weekend following those issues last weekend. He was also complaining of understeer in low-speed corners, and also it's worth noting that Red Bull were running new rear-wing end plates. Carlos Sainz in seventh place for McLaren, 7/10 off the fastest time by Perez. Pierre Gasly there in eighth place, and then it's Daniel Ricciardo in ninth. He did some aero running in the morning, and Sebastian Vettel in 10th place. But it should be noted that Ferrari have bought some upgrades this weekend. They've got a new front wing and a new floor. Both of those were run during practice. Daniel Kvyat was 11th on a 105.8. He's another one who didn't run soft tyres. And then it's Charles Leclerc down in 12th place. Ferrari still appearing to struggle, although again, for what it's worth, it is only Friday, although they didn't have any pace last weekend either, despite the podium that Leclerc got. Esteban Ocon in 13th place for Renault, 14th for Lando Norris. However, he has received a 3-place grid penalty for overtaking under yellow flags. Kimi Raikkonen, 15th for Alfa Romeo, 16th for Romain Grosjean. Jack Aitken, 17th. Fantastic job this morning for Williams, finishing ahead of Robert Kubica in 18th and his teammate for the morning, Nicholas Latifi, in 19th. However, Latifi did have to stop out on track when the engine, in his words, just went. That caused a red flag, and the team later confirmed it was actually a gearbox issue. And rounding off this table is poor Kevin Magnussen down there. No time, just 3 out laps, if you like, or installation laps on the board. But he spent the entire session pretty much in the garage with a battery issue. He's needed a new battery, and that is his first change of the season. He's allowed 3, of course, this year. Now, unlike last week, not an awful lot happened in between sessions, apart from, of course, Lando Norris getting that penalty. So let's jump straight into the result of FP2. Max Verstappen, fastest this afternoon, a 103.6. And he was less than half a tenth clear of Valtteri Bottas in second place. The Mercedes boys did run softs in the afternoon. Sergio Perez, third in the Racing Point, 2 tenths off, with his teammate Lance Stroll right behind in fourth. I say right behind, 3 tenths slow, but he's there. Racing Point once again showing they've got some very good pace on a Friday. Can they carry it into the race on Sunday? That's the big question. Carlos Sainz, 5th for McLaren, a 104.3. And then it's Lewis Hamilton down in 6th place. Now, he apparently was not happy with his car, so some changes and some tweaks were made during the session, but the team will look at the data overnight. Alex Albon, P7, he had a spin at turn 3, no issues there and carried on. But he had an even bigger spin at turn 8 later in the session, and that put him into the gravel. However, he was able to continue and get back to the pits. Lando Norris, 8th place for him in the second McLaren. Charles Leclerc down in 9th, 8/10 off the fastest time by Max Verstappen. Esteban Ocon in 10th place there for Renault. And then we've got Pierre Gasly in 11th. He was a little bit grumpy over the radio. Daniel Kvyat in 12th. And then we've got Kimi Raikkonen 13th and Antonio Giovinazzi 14th. 105.1 for Kimi, 105.3 for Gio. With George Russell, who of course missed FP1 for Aitken to have his run. He's in 15th place at 105.5. And then it's Sebastian Vettel all the way down in 16th place. Now, I'm not making excuses for him, but he did have at least one lap deleted for track limits, which was quicker, but still not a good day for Vettel. Nicholas Latifi was 17th, so a better afternoon for him. He posted a 105.6, and then it's Kevin Magnussen in 18th and Romain Grosjean in 19th. But Daniel Ricciardo, no time on the board, just the 2 installation laps, because he had a very big crash at the penultimate corner. He carried a lot of speed into that turn, lost the car, and went straight off into the wall. That was obviously the end of his session and brought out the red flag. He was mostly okay, a bit of a limp, but he's been to the medical centre and has been declared fit for the rest of the weekend. That is it for this week's Friday roundup there, but you can let me know your thoughts on any of the stories featured today down in the comment section. Now, I will be back soon with more race weekend content, but in the meantime, don't forget that you can of course follow me over on social media, and all of the links you need for that are in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will catch you again in the next one. Bye bye.